Alright guys, I'm just going to start making some chorizo sausage. I've just got my smoked paprika delivered from Amazon this morning, so I've been to the butcher's and I bought 1.5 kilos of belly pork there, and then I've got 2 kilos of pork shoulder. It would already came boned and rolled, but it still had the skin on, so I've took the skin off. That'll make lovely crackling later. But to get this through the mincer, I've got to dice it into a decent sized dice, otherwise you find it might start jamming the mincer. Don't trim the fat off, because for sausages, any kind of sausage, if you don't have the fat, you don't have the flavour. Also, it helps keeping the fat on when you come to cook them, but they cook so much easier. If you've got I would say you need at least 20% fat or 15% fat, because if you don't have that, when you come to cook them, they dry out so badly. They actually become like beef jerky, and they're just not pleasurable to eat. So I'm going to continue just dicing this up. Like I say, I wanted about an inch and a half dice. Notice I'm keeping the fat. Fat's good for sausages. A lot of people, well, mainly British, if you go into a British butcher's and you buy a common or garden pork sausage, you'll probably end up with about 20% fat, and then you're looking at another 20% of rusk. Now rusk, according to a butcher, they'll tell you it makes a more palatable, better textured sausage. But for me, I leave the rusk out. You don't need the rusk. If you find that your sausages are, say, a little bit loose or a little bit there's not really any texture to it, rusk isn't going to change that. When you see later on in the video, when I'll do it with normal pork sausage as well. I'll soak the meat. Once I've minced it, I will soak it. So I'll put, like on the chorizo, I'll put some red wine and leave it in the red wine for a good hour. Let it soak that up. I know with the chorizo I'm going to dry some of it and I'm going to smoke it all. But that red wine will concentrate and give you flavour. Rusk doesn't give you flavour. So if you go to a butcher's, and a normal British butcher, just bear in mind you're looking at you're paying good money for somebody's dry bread, because that's all the rusk is, just dry bread. And that's the meat diced up. Now at this stage, now I've got this meat here, at this stage I could, if I wanted to, flavour it now. But you're always better off, because once you've got your flavouring on, when you put it through the mincer, that the effect of the mincing will actually mix the flavouring into the meat. So it does save you a little bit of a job, but I'd prefer to mince it now, and then I know how much I've got, because some of this won't actually go through the mincer. You'll find that it will come to a point where it won't actually go through the mincer, because there is gristle in there, and the gristle will stop. So I always like to check my way to the mince, what I've got, and then I can do the seasonings, etc. Now, half of this is going to go for chorizo, like I said before, but the other half I'm going to do a leek and sage. So there's the sage, fresh sage. Just picked that out the garden this morning. Absolutely fantastic. Smells gorgeous. Only problem is it was soaking wet, because the garden is wringing wet. It's never stopped raining for 24 hours. So I had to dry it out first. But I've roughly chopped it I mean, there's big leaves and there's some little bits. But once that goes, I mix it into the mince, and then I'll put it back through the mincer. That'll grind it down a little bit more. Like I say, the chorizo is going to have the smoked paprika, but there's the sage for the sage and leek, and there's the leeks. I've just roughly chopped them. As you can see, they're still steaming now, they're still hot. And I've just blanched them in hot water, maybe, I'd say 30 seconds, 45 seconds. That's it. Now I'm going to go off into my little pantry. So I'll be turning this off, and then we'll continue once I get into the pantry and I set up my mincer.